Hello, namaste. Welcome back to Bhagavatam for Rationalists. In this episode 37, we are going to talk about the killing of Kamsa. So, Krishna and Balaram had come from Vrindavan to Mathura and they were facing three dangers: an attack by the war elephant Kuvalayapeedam, a wrestling match with Chanoora and Mushtika, and finally Kamsa himself. As they're roaming the streets of Mathura, not knowing when each of these dangers is going to fall upon them, Krishna meets with Kubja. Now, there are a number of glamorous, beautiful ladies in the city, but Krishna's eye and attraction falls upon Kubja. Kubja is called Trivakra in a pejorative way by other ladies because her body is curved in three different ways. She has a hunchback, so she is bent forward, and she also has a scoliosis, so that her chest is twisted to one side. So, in any sense of, in the classical sense, by any stretch of the imagination, she is not someone that would be considered beautiful. So, now let's juxtapose her against the Gopikas and Radha in Vrindavan, who are described in many ways in poetry, in painting, and in sculpture, and so on. Invariably, those ladies, Radha and Gopikas, are depicted as just wonderful, gorgeous, beautiful young ladies. Trivakra, on the other hand, is not beautiful. You might even call her ugly. Makes a living selling cosmetics on the streets of Mathura. When she sees Krishna, she falls in love with him and goes up to him, offers her cosmetics to him for free. Krishna looks into her eyes and sees the purity of her heart and the purity of her love and is immediately attracted to her, and he falls in love with her as well. So we might think of romantic love between Krishna and Gopikas or with Radha as somehow based on lust, or based on young people being attracted to each other based on superficial beauty. The story of Kubja tells us that Krishna's love for others is based not so much on superficial beauty, but on their inner beauty, the beauty of their heart, and the purity of their love. Anyhow, it is said that Krishna straightened her body by simply lifting her chin up with one finger. And Kubja, of course, is very happy about it. She says, "Please come to my home. I would like to, romance with you." And Krishna promises her that, yes, I will come back to you. But for now, I have bigger problems. I need to deal with Kamsa. So, anyway, the next day, in fact, Krishna faces Kuvalayapeedam. అంజక బాలకుడనియును కొంజొక దయమాలి రాజ కుంజరయంతన్ కుంజరమును ఢీకొలిపెను గుంజర బాలకుడు గోప కుంజరు మీదన్. O elephant among kings, O Maharshi Raja Parikshit, Shuka Maharshi is telling him with no pity that this is just a teenage boy. The elephant leader, or the Mahat, drove the war elephant on a collision course so that he would go and hit Krishna, that elephant among cowherds. But that fight has its inevitable result, because elephant had raw power, physical power, but Krishna had mind power and he had agility. So Krishna was able to trick the elephant into crashing into a wall. And when that happens, the elephant falls down and is killed, and the Mahat also is crushed under the elephant. Mahat also dies. So, hearing this news, Kamsa is frightened. He wonders if his end is drawing near. The next one, Kamsa arranges this wrestling match in a wrestling arcade. So, in this match, you have our two young, delicate cowherds, Krishna and Balarama, on one side, and two seasoned, strong, vicious wrestlers whose names are Chanoora and Mushtika. Kamsa, feeling good about this matchup, he thinks his powerful wrestlers can surely deal with the puny cowherd boys who are standing in front of them. Chanura, one of the wrestlers, is also kind of a little bit confident, so he greets Krishna with this kind of trash talk. చలమున ననుడాసి జలరాశి జొరరాదు నిగిడి గోత్రముదండ నిలువరాదు కేడించి కుంభిని క్రిందికి బోరాదు మనుజ సింహుడనని మలయరాదు చేరిన పడవైతు చైసాపగా రాదు బెరసిన ముందట బెరగరాదు భూనాథ హింసకు బోరాదు నను మీరి శోధింతి గానల జొరగరాదు ప్రబలమూర్తి ననుచు భాసిల్లగా రాదు ధర ప్రబుద్ధుడనని తలపరాదు కల్కితనము చూపి గర్వింపగా రాదు తరముగాదు కృష్ణ తలగు తలగు. So Chanura is telling Krishna, you are a little puny boy. You can't fight me, Krishna. Get out of the way, out of here. And in all the trash talk before it, it's as if Chanura has also identified Krishna's divinity because he makes reference to all the other avatars. Well, not all the other avatars, but many of the other avatars that Krishna has taken. You can't hide from me by entering the ocean, nor under a mountain, nor boring into the earth. That's like Matsya, Kurma, and Varaha. You can't scare me about being a lion among men. I will push you down if you extend your hand. That's a reference to Vamana extending his hand to Bali Chakravarti for asking for three steps of land. And you can't grow in front of me like Trivikrama did. You can't pass by me to kill the king. This Bhunatha Himsa or killing of kings is something that Parashurama did. Nor can you hide in the forest like Rama did. He's basically saying you can't hide anywhere. I'm going to grab you and hunt you down. And he's saying, don't tell me you're strong and wise as Buddha, or don't take pride in your cleverness like Kalki. So this, Dashavatara paradigm makes a, appearance back again with Chanura referring to 10 to 10 other avatars and basically telling Krishna, you can't fight me, Krishna, get out of the way. But anyway, the fight ensues, and maybe the result also is inevitable. But after a long fight, Chanura is in fact killed by Krishna, and Mushtika is killed by Balarama. There are other wrestlers who are supposed to take the place of Chanura and Mushtika, but because these two are the strongest among the wrestlers, and even they were killed by Krishna and Balarama, the other wrestlers get frightened and they run away from there. Kamsa is furious. He passes orders, kill those boys, kill Nanda, bring Ugrasena from jail, kill him too, and so forth. But no one is left that is able to follow his orders. Because Kamsa has been tyrannical for so long, it means that there is no one who has any love left for him. No one comes to his rescue as Krishna climbs up to the platform, pulls Kamsa down by his hair to the middle of the wrestling arcade, and beats him to death. So what you see in this pediment, which is a rock on which almost it's etched like a painting or like a print, you see Krishna is hitting upon Kamsa to kill him with all the other audience watching. So this is from the Bante Shrai temple in Cambodia, a 10th century temple. All right. சாது ஜனத்தை நலியும் கஞ்சனை சாதிப்பதற்கு ஆதியஞ்சோதியுருவை அங்குவை திங்கு பிறந்த வேத முதலை வேத முதல்வனை பாடி வீதிகள் தோறும் துள்ளாதார் ஓதியுணர்ந்தவர் முன்னா எஞ்சவிப்பார் மனிஜரே. So this is from the Tiruppavai, a very famous and very popular set of verses that are sung in temples all over the world. And this one is particularly from a book called Nalaira Tiruvai Prabandham, or 4,000 verses. Nalayiram means 4,000. And this was written by Periyalvar. What he's saying is that to deal with Kamsa, who was tormenting the good people of the world, he left his form of primordial light, Adiyun Jodi. He left that form and came down here and took birth here as a boy on earth. He left the primordial life form in heaven. So there are humans among us who don't dance in ecstasy in the street to praise such a one, the one who is the origin of Vedas. Are these people who don't dance in ecstasy, are they putting their human birth to good use? This is what Periyalvar says. So what he seems to be suggesting is, he is reciting the story of Kamsa's killing, saying that the God himself left his primordial form as light in heaven, came down and took birth as a boy and killed Kamsa because he was tormenting the world, and he is the origin of all the Vedas. If there are human beings who don't recognize that form and dance in ecstasy at recognizing that form, are they putting their human birth to good use? They are potentially wasting their human birth. You need to think about God, and the nature of God is what Periyalvar seems to be saying. And Potana takes possibly a leaf from that when he is depicting Kamsa's animus to Krishna as bhakti. So, this is Shuka Maharshi telling Emperor Parikshit, Rosha Pramoda Nidra Bhashashana Pana Gatula Vayaka Chakrin Doshagati Juchi Yaina Visheshagatin Kamsudatani Jende Narendra. During angry or happy times, while he was sleeping, conversing, eating, or drinking, Kamsa was relentlessly, without any pause, always thinking about Krishna. Even if that thinking was with evil intent, O King Parikshit, he used a special path to reach God. Once again, the point here is thinking about God. It's not important that you have true devotion and bhakti and you're always bending a knee to God. The most important thing is that you think about it. You think about that Adiyun Jyoti. You think about what is the nature of God. Even if you are an atheist and don't believe in God, but if you keep thinking about it and you keep thinking about understanding what is the nature of what people call God and you focus on it, that concentration, that's enough for reaching moksha. That is what they're saying, because even if you have animus toward God, if you think constantly, that is the same as bhakti. So, getting back to the story, Kamsa's people are expelled from power. Ugrasena is restored to the throne as king of Mathura. Devaki and Vasudeva, who have been in jail all this time, are also released from there. Nanda and the others who came from Vrindavan, they see now that Krishna and Balarama are safe, so they go back to Vrindavan, and Krishna and Balarama remain back in Mathura to start a brand new chapter in their life. The first thing in that brand new chapter, of course, is education. So they are sent to the ashram of Sandipani Maharshi near Kashi. And everything in Krishna and Balaram's life so far has been delayed. Remember, even their naming ceremony by Maharshi Garga was delayed until after they were a few years old. So the education also is delayed. Usually, education takes 12 to 15 years. You go in there when you're 5, 6 years old, and you come back when you're in your late teens. Now, Krishna and Balaram are already in their late teens. Anyway, they are sent to Sandipani, and it is said that classical education, which is said to contain 64 subjects, Chatushashtikala is what it's called. Those 64 subjects, Krishna and Balarama are able to learn in just 64 days. And during this time in Sandipani Ashram, Krishna also befriends Sudama. This is a friendship that has a special meaning, and we'll get back to this later on in the story. Sudama was a fellow student. He was good at his studies. He was from a destitute Brahmin family. And this contrast between the rich Krishna on one side and the poor Sudama on the other side, and how their friendship develops. This is a beautiful story that we'll come back to later. Sandipani, seeing the speed with which they learned their studies, recognizes their divinity, and for Guru Dakshina, which is the fee that students pay back to their gurus in gratitude for the learning they received, Sandipani says, I don't want any money from you boys. Instead, I'm going to give you an impossible task. He had a son who had died many years ago. Sandipani asks Krishna and Balarama to restore his dead son back to life. And Krishna and Balarama, it is said, in another divine miracle they performed, they go to Yama, the god of death, and in fact do bring back Sandipani's son to life and submit him back to Sandipani, thus paying back the Guru Dakshina to Sandipani. So, after completing education, Krishna and Balarama returned to Mathura and faced some really hostile political forces. We will cover that in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Thank you very much for your attention so far.